is devilry afoot.
Can't I have lunch in peace, Holmes?
Not with this man, you can't. Mr. Gregory did not attend either Stanford or Columbia. His parents do not own a hardware store in Brattleboro, and he has never worked for BKN Credit. He is a liar and a fraud, and quite possibly a murderer.
I'm FBI. The Bureau arranged for us to get into BKN last night. So you take me into your confidence. I'm sorry. Jane, wait.
You set me up, and I thought you were for real.
I am. I mean, I want to be. Look, Jane, my name really is Toby Gregory. Everything else was a cover, but the FBI is as interested in this case as you are.
Then why don't they help us?
Absolutely not. We're the FBI, for God's sake. We're not here to help people.
But how far have we gotten without them? No disrespect, sir, but what have we got to lose?
All right. But only because we're so pitifully short of manpower since that Graham Rudman thing.
Carter Morstan was forced to resign about 6 years ago when he refused to take a polygraph test after all the evidence in a counterfeiting case disappeared from the evidence vault. His partner, Bart Sholto, also refused a test and resigned. And it wasn't even their case. They were working on an airline hijacking at the time.
The two agents who were assigned to the case also refused the test. They were named Singer and Ross. They too resigned, and we can't find any trace of them now.
So Morstan, Sholto, Singer, and Ross are the four. Why is Small after them?
We don't know.
This is the only picture we have of Small.
What was this evidence that disappeared?
Almost $1 million in queer.
Ah.
Counterfeit money.
And the statute of limitations runs out next week.
And was any of it ever recovered?
A small portion. Some schmuck named Hall Pycroft bought a car with 5,000 of it in a suburb of Seattle. They caught him the next day, but he wouldn't say where he got the phony bills. He's currently serving a 10-year sentence in Leavenworth.
And what was the name of the counterfeiter against whom the charges have obviously been dropped for lack of evidence?
Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, I'll find that. Lysander Stark. Big time, big money, big friends. We've never been able to prove that he was crooked.
Now, Mr. Sigerson, this business of yours, does it involve import or export?
Well, you might say export for you and import for me, Mr. Stark. You see, I have sources in England who can handle a good deal of,
Queer.
queer. Say $6 billion or so. I'm prepared to pay 1 for 6.
Mr. Sigerson, I'm afraid there's been some misunderstanding. The door is that way.
You know what I forgot to tell the gent? Singer and Ross sent me.
If you're not out of here by the count of 3, Francis and Ernest are going to throw you out.
Oh, by the way, don't happen to know how I could reach a Mr. Small, do you?
I see you again, you dead meat.
Well, we certainly made fools of ourselves in there.
Speak for yourself, Miss Watson.
Oh, come on. Where did that get us? Did it lead us to Singer or Ross?
That was not the intention, Miss Watson.
Well, what was the intention, Mr. Holmes?
To lead Ross and or Singer to us. This is the night of Faust, Watson. I shall have to purchase a pair of tails.
No one wears tails to the opera anymore, Holmes.
Oh, pity. Ugliest man in Christendom looks elegant in a pair of tails. What shall you wear?
Can I tell you a secret? I despise opera. Can't you go with someone else? Why don't you go with Miss Houston?
Oh, no, I don't think so. Not Mrs. Hudson.
Well, you don't know anybody else.
My resources are not as meager as you imagine. I'm so glad you relented, Miss Morstan.
You were most persistent, Mr. Sigerson. May I call you Holmes?
I'd be charmed.
Not to mention charming. Are you at all musical?
I used to tinker with the violin. Helps me think. What a beautiful theater this is.
Yes, isn't it?
I used to know someone who sang here once. A contralto named Irene Adler.
Irene Adler. But she was a contemporary of Sir Bernhardt. You're pulling my leg again, aren't you? Could you bring me up to date on the case?
I'd rather wait until I have a solution to report to you.
I'd rather you kept me abreast.
It's getting late, I fear.
Oh, could I entice you with a nightcap?
No, thank you. I'm not chilly. Amazingly rapid job of redecoration.
Well, I couldn't bear to be reminded.
No, of course not. There is one thing I'd be very curious to know.
Anything.
All this elegance. Did your father earn enough to buy all this working for the FBI?
Oh, no. My father invented a new kind of electronic chip about 6 years ago. He sold the patent to Novatronics and retired from the Bureau. And we've lived very comfortably on the royalties ever since.
I think it's time for my hasty departure. Now, who's waiting up for whom?
Well, I was working on the case.
Mm-hmm. And did you find the answer buried here in this orgy of chocolate?
Well, I got the munchies, I guess. Lipstick. My dear Mr. Holmes, what have you been up to?
I've been learning about an electronic chip. But I have one question for you.
Yes.
What is an electronic chip?
And this mini-phone answering device came as a direct result of Mr. Morstan's electronic chip.
Hello, I'm not in right now, but if you'll leave your name and number, I'll get back to you.
But you've never seen anything like this before, huh?
Quite right.
Who's it for, Munchkins?
Munchkins. But you've never seen anything like this before, huh?
Quite right.
Who's it for, Munchkins?
Munchkins.
Astounding. Radio without pictures.
Mr. Hampton, I was wondering if you would share with us information on the financial dealings between your company and Mr. Morstan.
Oh, I'm afraid it's against company policy to reveal financial information, not even to stockholders.
Well, we are also working for his daughter, and she is his heir. I think she would want you to help us.
This is a matter of some urgency, Mr. Hampton.
Well, it is a matter of life and death.
Well, I'm afraid I don't make the policy, folks. I just go with it. Ah, here we are. So long. Have a nice day.
What do you propose to do now?
You're the brains, I am the brawn, you tell me.
Watson? I don't mind confessing to you that I've always thought I would make a highly efficient criminal.
How'd you get so good at this?
A relative of mine wrote a book on it. Name of Raffles.
Toby gave me a few tips. Got Mostan's file.